So good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our Lunch and Learn session today on NDIS and digital health. My name is Priyanka, and I am the Allied Health Integrations Program Officer here at CESPHN. And also joining us today from the PHN is Lauren, who is the CPD Program Officer. I would like to start by acknowledging the traditional custodians and sovereign people of the land across which we work. I recognize their continuing connection with land, water, and community, and pay my respects to elders past, present, and emerging. I would also like to extend that respect to any Aboriginal colleagues joining us today. Just a little bit of housekeeping. Today, we're going to use the chat function to ask any questions. And also this webinar will be recorded and an evaluation survey link will pop up on your screens at the end of the session. Here are a few upcoming events. And if you'd like to register, you can find these on the CESPHN website. So just before diving into how to register for NDIS, just a bit of a background information on disability and what NDIS is. So disability is an umbrella term used for variation of function or structure that could lead to activity limitation or participation restrictions. And there are many types of disabilities, such as those that can affect a person's vision, movement, thinking, learning, communication, mental health, and social relationships. And these can be broadly categorized as intellectual disability, cognitive, sensory, psychosocial, physical, or psychological. But people with disability want to live the same lives as everyone else, and that is where the NDIS comes in. So NDIS is the National Disability Insurance Scheme. It's an Australian government scheme designed to help people with disability to live a full and meaningful life. NDIS provides support to the people under the age of 65 who have a permanent and a significant disability. It also supports their families and carers. Now, the eligibility for NDIS. NDIS has its own definition of disability in determining the eligibility for the scheme. There are age requirements, residency requirements, disability requirements, and early intervention requirements. So a participant has to be under the age of 65 with a permanent and a significant disability. Here, permanent means the disability that will not go away, and significant is that it should be significant enough to affect their day-to-day living. And the NDIS will pay a reasonable and a necessary support that a person with disability needs to live and enjoy their lives. So reasonable is what is fair, and necessary is something that a person must have. Just with the age requirements, people over the age of 65 can still be eligible for the support if they have been deemed eligible prior to the age of 65. And the residency requirements are they have to be an Australian citizen or a permanent resident or on a protected special category visa, and the person should be living in Australia. And then we start with registering for NDIS. So to register for NDIS, any sole trader or a company needs a ABN number. So that is the Australian business number. And then you'll have to select the services that you want to provide. And these services depend on your experience, your qualifications, and understanding the current market demands. And we'll need to have a PRODA account. The PRODA account is to submit an application for NDIS registration. The NDIS registration is submitted to the NDIS Commission's portal. And once you have submitted the application, NDIS will send you an email and it will have an initial scope of audit form. And then you'll need to undergo an audit. All the auditing companies have been listed on the NDIS website. So just a digital health part of it, how to submit an application. You can get the application from the NDIS Commission's website. If you go on the NDIS Commission's website, on the top right-hand corner, you'll see here it is portal, and then you'll go to applications portal. Once you go to the applications portal, you'll see a screen where it says login with PRODA. Once you click on login with PRODA, it'll go to the PRODA screen. You'll need to put your username and your password and hit login. And PRODA is a two-step authentication, so you'll get one-time password that you need to enter to log in. Once you've logged in PRODA, you'll see all the available services, and you need to click on the NDIS applications portal tile. Once you're in the application portal tile, there will be a new portal access application form. You'll just click begin here. And after that, you'll need to fill in your first name, your last name, your email address, and your work phone number, and then you can hit next. Then the screen will pop up and you'll need to acknowledge all the details and hit submit. So once all the details are in, PRODA will send a confirmation email to your email address. You can go to your email address and confirm, and then the application portal will open, and you can just click I agree here. And this is the new application. This is where you fill in the new application form. So just a point to be noted, once you start a new application, you'll have 60 days to update your application and submit it. Otherwise, it's going to expire and it'll be deleted from the portal. And for those who do not have a PRODA account, you can create one by going on the Human Services website. It's going to ask for your identification documents. That can be your Medicare card, your passport. So you need to supply 3 documents, and the list is on the website. And after you submit the documentation and everything is set, you need to, there will be a 2-step authentication. So you'll need to have an email address or a phone number that the PRODA will send your one-time passwords to for login. So once the application form is submitted and you need to undergo, the organization needs to undergo an audit. So there are 2 types of audits. One is the verification audit, another one is the certification audit. So the audit you'll undergo will depend on the type of services you want to deliver. So there can be low risk services such as therapeutic support, hearing services, and other high risk services such as early intervention support for early childhood, like specialized support coordination. So for the verification audit is usually a 1-day audit. There will be a review of documentations, policy and procedures. And the certification audit is a 2-stage audit where there'll be, the stage 1 will be review of documentation, and the stage 2 will be site-to-site visits and face-to-face discussions. So the documentation that need to be supplied includes incident management processes and policies, complaints management, and risk management policies. So once you've undergone the audit, the auditor will submit a recommendation to the NDIS Commission. And after that has been done, there'll be a suitability assessment. Once that is done, the successful applicants will get a NDIS provider registration and access to the My Provider portal. I'm just going to briefly go over the NDIS plan management. The NDIS plan funding can be managed by the participants in 3 ways. One is a self-managed, plan managed, and NDIA managed. So the self-management is where the participant gets reimbursed directly into their bank accounts for the NDIS support received, and the provider they can use, and the provider they're using may be registered or unregistered. So they can use both a registered provider or an unregistered provider. And then is the plan management. This is where NDIA pays for a plan manager, and the participants using the plan management services can choose both either unregistered or a registered provider. And then is the agency managed, the NDIA managed funding. Here the NDIS pays the providers on behalf of the participants, and the NDIA and the people using NDIA funding need to they have to use a registered provider because NDIS cannot pay unregistered providers. So the difference between so everyone can deliver support to NDIS participants, but there's a difference between registered and unregistered providers. So the unregistered providers are free to set prices, whereas the registered providers need to adhere to the NDIS price caps. And the participants can access unregistered providers only if they are plan managed or self-managed. The participants who are agency managed have only access to the registered NDIS providers. And there are some restrictions on the level of support that unregistered providers can provide. So they can't do disability accommodation, supported independent living, plan management, or behavioral support. So now the pros and cons of being a registered provider. So the main benefit the registered providers get is they get access to the NDIA managed participants, and the consumers see them as more trustworthy and credible. And there's a quicker cash flow because all the payments are managed through the NDIS portal. However, to be registered, there is a high startup cost and the ongoing cost of renewal of registration and the audits. And there is a stricter compliance requirement, which means there's more paperwork. And now the unregistered providers, so it's definitely quicker to start up and there's no cost for audits, and they can directly work with the participants. The cons are they're seen as less trustworthy by the consumers, and they need to focus more on building a stronger reputation in the community. And the unregistered providers don't have access to the NDIA managed participants. So now I'm just going to go over how do we get paid. So the registered providers can submit a payment request for each individual service for each individual participant. But in this webinar, we'll just go over how to bulk bill, how to send a bulk payment request. So the registered providers need to submit a payment request through my place provider portal, and the payment request needs to be submitted within 90 days of the service booking, and you can all do it through PRODA. At the end of the in the coming slides, I'll show you how to link your My Place provider portal to PRODA account. So now we come to how to upload how to do a bulk upload file. So we log into the My Place provider portal in PRODA, and then this screen comes up. So we will select payment request, and then go to the bulk payment request upload. So the bulk payment request is a functionality within the My Place provider portal that enables to submit multiple requests for payment in a single uploaded file through My Place provider portal, rather than submitting individual requests for each service booking for each participant. So once we go into the bulk payment request upload, so this is the screen that is going to come up. There are three files that you can see. One is the view information on bulk file upload. Another one is the bulk upload file template. And then we have the support item reference list. So the first one, view information on bulk upload file. It is a guide for the providers on what and how they can record information within the bulk upload file template. And the bulk upload upload file template is the bulk payment request template that the provider will need to submit and upload to make a bulk payment request. And then we have the support item reference list. It is an Excel document that can be downloaded, and it has all the names and the codes for the service bookings. So once you're on the screen, you'll need to download the bulk upload file template. So you can download it as a CSV file. And then you can rename the file, but the name of the file cannot exceed 20 characters, and you cannot use any special characters on it. Otherwise, when you try to upload the file, it'll come up with an error and you can't submit it. And once you have downloaded the file and edited it and put all the payments and codes in, you can just go to upload document, choose file, and put in a reference number, and then hit upload. So once it has been successfully uploaded, it'll come up with the screen. Your file has been uploaded for further processing. So there are a few issues when we upload a bulk a template file. Sometimes it does come up with errors because the code doesn't match the service or something like that. So NDIS has a troubleshooting guide for all this. I have linked that in this slide. So if you want to have a look on why there are errors or something, you can just have a look at this file. It is a pretty long document. It's like 45 pages. So and now we come to NDIS and PRODA, how to link the My Place provider portal to your PRODA account. So once you log into your PRODA account, you'll see all these tiles under available services. So this one, the NDIS My Place provider portal tile, this is the one we will select. So once you select that, it will ask you for all your details. Just make sure when you enter the details, these details match to the details that are on your PRODA account. And once these details match, you can hit submit, and then it will link your PRODA account, your NDIS My Place provider portal to your PRODA account. And then you can, once it's linked, it will come up here on My Linked Services, and you can use it via this. So that is the end of NDIS. We do have other digital health topics. So secure messaging, PRODA, and My Health Record. Just let us know. Feel free to send me an email if you want us to do a webinar on any of this. So this brings us to the end of the presentation. Any questions, any comments?
Hi, Priyanka. We have one question. What health services can a person on NDIS not use?
Health NDIS, like once a participant, once someone needs to access NDIS, they need to submit a access request form, and it needs. So if a person they can just use the disability services. They can't use, like, if they have any chronic health conditions or something that is on Medicare, they can't use that. As a part of NDIS, only what's linked to disability that support will be provided. However, if it's a chronic disease or something that is on Medicare.
Thank you. We also have another question. What are the fees to register as a provider?
So the application form is free. There is no fees. However, the auditing does cost. So it really depends on the size of the organization. There's a list of the approved auditing companies on the NDIS website. They do charge. I think it starts from $1,000, but like it can go up to anywhere, like depending on the size of the organization. However, registering for NDIS is free. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, great. We've got another couple of questions. Can pain service treatments be used by NDIS participants?
Like it totally depends on, because once a participant submits the access request form, they need to send the documents supporting like what type of disability they have, if their functional capacity. It really depends on what NDIS approves as support, because they will pay like for the necessary support they need. So it really depends on the condition of the patient, like what support they need. But if the chronic pain is due to a medical condition, it won't be covered under NDIS.
Great, thank you so much for your presentation, Priyanka. We might just give everyone a minute or so just to see if there's any more questions to come through, and then we'll probably be able to wrap up after that if there's no more questions.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay, looks like we've got another one. Does a GP participate in the NDIS plan?
The GP can provide like any, if the report for functional capacity or the disability what they have. I'm not sure if a GP can. I think, yeah, they can use it. Like, sorry, I'll have to probably check once again. So yeah, because our webinar was mainly on allied health. So yeah, I think a GP can, if it's necessary for support. So they can use NDIS. Yeah.
Give it just a few more seconds. Oh, I think we've got something else that's coming through. Can we register as a private provider, or does it have to go through a company?
No, you can register as a sole trader. That's totally fine. Yeah, you can just register as a sole trader. You don't have to be a part of the company to register.
Great, thank you. Okay, and everyone's just saying thank you very much for your presentation, Priyanka.
Thank you.
Great feedback. We might just give it just a few more seconds in case there's any last questions that anyone has any burning questions, and then we'll be able to wrap that up. So just a reminder, the evaluation survey will pop up in your browsers. So we'd really appreciate your feedback, and we'll also follow up with an email with that link and Priyanka's slides for today. Okay, so we do have another question that's come through. How do you ensure you have the correct qualifications for the service you want to provide?
So NDIS has a list. It will send you. It does have a list. So like if they need. You need to have a specific qualification to deliver a specific type of services. And I think it mainly depends on the provider, like what they think is relevant for the qualification. And there are a few guides that I can send you through where you can check if that is a specific service that someone can provide.
Don't think we have any more questions coming through, Priyanka.
If you have any other questions after the webinar, you can always send it, like email me on my email address. That's totally fine.
Great, Priyanka. Yep, no more questions at this time. Thanks, Priyanka.
Good.
We might wrap up there.
All good. Thanks everyone for joining. And thank you, Lauren, for supporting me here today.